What's up there, you guys? Your man Joe. Came around just to find that you need to know. I know some of y'all wanted me to say that. But there's something that I wanted to talk about is that I want to talk about the agree and disagree of mgtow. Um, since mgtow is an upcoming, not upcoming, but it's been out for quite a while, and it's very growing amongst young men, old men, even men my age, and men are waking up to the hypergamy in the government and the agenda at hand. Let's say the parts that I agree with mgtow. I do believe that the government does support the feminized nature of women and is catered towards women because they can use them as for their agents in some cases, or more or most. They use them to destroy the family, to get them, and then there's an agenda for to have men become not men, have women become the head of the household or head of the businesses, or give women more power politically, financially, and home wise. Um, I think there is an agenda for that, and the agenda is, and another agenda for pretty much feminize men and make, I guess you can say, have men and become stay-at-home house husbands, or make everything reverse, or make it, I guess you can say, make it more pleasant for the men in this country. um I do agree on that because there's a lot of an agenda, uh like a lot of emasculation going on, a lot of things that I've been teaching to in our schools, that or just in our society and stuff like that. And teaching, as far as for make I hope I'm not going off on the grid. They're talking about like how dating is, and how different it is how dating is geared towards for women, which I agree. I agree that music is geared towards women. I know some people say, well, there's a lot of female artists and stuff, like, but still, I guess you can say that the music is geared towards women because there's a lot of indoctrination of softening up the men to do these sort of things, even though in real retrospect, like, that's kind of like they're very pricey and very high, and it's just like very much of expected. Um, which I do agree. I guess you could say there's an agenda to make men simps or emasculation. Yeah, emasculate, or simps or doormats or whatever. Um, I do agree with that. And men are trying to leave the plantation of marriages, since they want to avoid getting married, avoid marriage because of the government. Not particularly women. I mean both, but I think it's more so from the government, due to child support, alimony, and probably other hidden fees. Yeah, and they just don't want to. And men are just tired. They don't want to deal with it anymore. Um, and which I understand that. I completely understand that. Since it's just what's happening now. I mean, it's been happening for years, decades, and now men are finally just waking up and noticing, like, hey, we're not obligated to do this. Yay! I'm glad that we don't have to do this. I'm glad that men are talking to one another and talking about these sort of subjects, about hypergamy and the female nature too, as well, or the Babylonian Jezebel nature also. What I mostly disagree with is the part that having or marrying sex with robots. Or there's a lot of talk about men who they're very fascinated about the I forgot, what's he call it? It's it's like synthetic birth, or hold on. I can't think of the name of it right now. But it's pretty much, you can give, if you, let's say if you would have like a love doll or a sex doll, and you fornicate or have sex with it, and you just give birth by this by this tool, I guess you can say. Um, and here's the thing, my complete thoughts on it, not my complete thoughts, but it's just like my thoughts on this. I still believe if men were to go this route about getting into relationships with robots, not just men, women too, but if men were to go this route, I still believe that we probably would still be in plantation with the get with the plantation of marriage still, because if the is like is like I believe that these sex robots, I think they're gonna be computered, right? Or robots. I mean, they're still computers, but they can. I mean, eventually, even the government will probably try to figure out a way to control it, and find another way to monopolize it, and pretty much as that. I still believe that if men, since there's a lot of an indoctrination of men getting into relationship with robots due to the fact that how the condition of the society is now, I still believe it is plant. It's still these robots. I believe is still going to be part of the plantation as well, because the government could be using them at some point to monopolize and still put them on child support. If they even if the child that I made, no, not I, but if the child that they made, if the men made the child, men if the men made these children by these robots, they can still, even if they can still be under child support, even if it was perfected or not. That's my thing. And you have to really like think about it. I know that I'd rather go to, I don't know if who can find a virtuous woman. Certainly not a robot. I still believe that the government is still gonna probably gonna monopolize the whole sex toy thing somehow. Um, yeah, if men were to go down that route. I remember the one time I heard about something similar to this, like men marrying robots. It was like a Japanese guy. I think it was Japanese or Chinese, but I think it's Japanese. Where he married. Yeah, it was a Japanese. It was a guy that married his Game Boy. I laughed. I laughed. I laughed when I saw it. But since now I'm seeing it more and more. Not just the Game Boy, but just seeing more men geared towards relationships, especially when it comes to robots, VR, and that's happening too. And especially the whole 360. I knew 360 video was gonna come back eventually, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that that we got to be very careful. I'm just saying to all the men, just be careful about having or getting into relationships or getting into marriages with these robots as well, because again, I still believe that if you're going to marry this robot just to do from the whole get away from the condition that it is, I still believe that having sex with robots and getting into marriage with robots at some point it's still going to be the same thing. So um that's my really much my concern about the whole sex robot thing. So um but all in all, so tell me what you guys think. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear what you guys think, what you guys know. So it's your man Joe. See you guys in another video or so. Bars. Anyway, all right.